as you know, if you've ever been here, they have tons of great things that we can make out of cake. And we had to go with Hey guys, here we are at Boomtown, and this is going to be our first Replicake for our Replicake series. And so let's go in and check out the awesome things they have and see what we want to make out of cake. All right, so they have tons of things here, and it's really hard to narrow down exactly what I want to do. I thought about doing one of their really cool hats, but I've done hats before, or their stuffed raccoon that they have sitting everywhere. I think that's really playful and a lot of fun, but I've done lots of animals before, but I've never done a t-shirt, so I'm definitely going to do a t-shirt. And then I'm really torn. Dolly, Queen of the South, obviously something that lots of people would love, and we are in Tennessee football area, so I could go with that. But my heart's really set on this traditional Tri-Star t-shirt, and I think that's what I'm going to have to do. I'm going to have to get me one of these. All right, guys, I've got it. Let's go make a cake. So the first step to any cake is to make sure I get those size proportions right. So as you can see, I've got a t-shirt off to the side that I've used as reference. And I'm just using a knife here to sculpt down a layer of red velvet cake. I thought it'd be really nice that once I cut into this cake that you can see that red on the inside, since it will be a red cake on the outside. And then I'm just using a layer of blue buttercream just to cover this cake, keep all the crumbs inside, and to have something for our modeling chocolate to adhere to. And here I have a piece of red modeling chocolate that I've rolled out to about 1/4 of an inch thick. And I'm using that to just lay over my sculpted cake here, press that in, and give a nice little trim just to give us a base to work from. And now I'm going to go around and cut this out with an X-Acto knife just to get a rough shape that I need. Remove that and then tuck under the excess just so we don't have that hanging out and it looks like it's folded underneath. Now that we have this basic shape, the fun can start. So this is my favorite part. I get to go in with my sculpting tools and add in all those folds and creases that you would see in a shirt that is folded up. And this can be a little bit challenging because you really want it to still look soft and like fabric. And so it takes a well-trained eye and a lot of technique to get this to look proper. And so I'm adding in some extra modeling chocolate, as you can see here, just so I can build up certain areas to add extra folds and to make it look a little bit more natural. And as I'm creating these folds and these deep creases into this t-shirt cake, you'll see that I have areas where I have to push it a little bit farther and go through that modeling chocolate, which is no problem at all. I'll just add in some extra pieces of modeling chocolate, just work that up to it's soft and add that in and smooth that back out. Now I'm using a sharper tool that I can go in and add these lines around the collar. Just indent this modeling chocolate just so that I can create the look of the seam where this collar would meet the shirt. And they're just going to smooth that out, which can help us add a little bit more texture to make this look more realistic. Using that same sharp tool, I can go in and add some of these seams along the shoulders, as well as going in and now adding all of those creases along the collar. Now, this ended up taking a lot more time than I thought, but it really added to the effect of a realistic t-shirt. I loved how it turned out. Now I'm going in and adding the stitching. I could have used a stitching tool and rolled this out, but I really found that
using this tool and hand doing it really made it more realistic. And I really loved how it turned out. All the stitching along all of the seams of the t-shirt and loved how it looked. And now I'm adding the graphic to the t-shirt, and I've rolled out a thin layer of blue fondant, and I've printed out a template that I can use just to make sure I get all the size proportions correct. And I've laid that on there and cut that out. And now I have cut out one of those stars from the template, and I've used that to trace out all the stars that I need for the graphic. And then once I get that done, I can go on and assemble. And so I'm placing that thin blue fondant onto the modeling chocolate and just adhering that with a little bit of edible glue that we mix up here in the bakery. And I'm just going to trim that down and tuck that under like I did the modeling chocolate earlier, just so it looks like a seamless design throughout. And now using that template of that star that I cut out before, I'm just going to lay that on so I get all the placement correct and add those stars in. And then I can go around and add this thin white line that borders this dark blue fondant. That's tucking it underneath again so that we don't see any of the ends of this design. And now one of my favorite parts is adding that tag to the inside of the shirt. And so I've got some edible paper here, then I'm using an edible marker and just drawing out very carefully the logo and the sizing of the shirt and all of that. And then just cut that out. And I'm going to use some of that edible glue that I talked about earlier and just adhere that to the inside of the shirt. Now, this really added the perfect touch to this t-shirt and made it look so believable that it was a real shirt. I see that tag on the inside.
So excited for them to see this. It's going to be awesome. Hey everybody, it's Timmy from Cakebuds. I'm so excited to have you here for our first episode of Replicake It. And here we are in downtown Johnson City in Boomtown. And as you know, if you've ever been here, they have tons of great things that we can make out of cake. And we had to go with their classic Tri-Star t-shirt. Take a look at this cake. So with any cake that we make, look like something else, we've got to prove that it's cake, right? And so the only way we can do that is if we cut it. So let's go cut this cake.